welcome to this edition of You See Good News. I'm Wadani and this is my co-host Camilo. And this week we're going to be focusing on the end times, guys, the end times. So I want to know all about the end times. Can you start us off?
Absolutely. You know, to understand the end of times, we really need to go back to the beginning. And in the beginning, God created this perfect world and its perfect environment, and then He placed humanity in it so that we could enjoy perfect relationships with each other and also perfect relationship with God.
Okay, but we don't live life like that anymore. That's not how it is.
No, it's not. And really, that's because of Adam and Eve, who were the first human beings. And you know, Adam and Eve, they decided that they were going to do their own will rather than obey God. And you know, their disobedience separated us from God. And from that moment, God begins this plan to restore humanity.
That sounds great, but how does He do that? How does He restore all of us?
That's a good question. And Romans 6:23 tells us that the wages of sin is death. And since Jesus doesn't have any sin, He's the only one who can really take on all of the sin of the world and pay for it Himself with His own life.
Wow. But how does that restore us?
Well, it doesn't end at His death.
No?
No, it doesn't. You know, Jesus comes back to life and then He ascends into heaven. And then this is really just a model of what will happen to those who believe in Christ. Those who believe will ascend into heaven as well.
That sounds cool. We're going to ascend. So is that the end?
No, actually it's not.
No?
After all the future prophecies have been fulfilled, Jesus is going to create a new heaven and a new earth. And in that new heaven and that new earth, He's going to restore our relationship with Him and make everything perfect, just the way it was intended since the very beginning.
Okay, so let me get this straight. This means that it's all fresh, new slate, starting from zero, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I can't wait for that day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you mentioned something here about future prophecies. What are these future prophecies? Tell us.
Well, these are all the events that take place from the moment that Jesus ascended into heaven and until the moment that the new heaven and the new earth are established.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But what about this rapture thing? I've heard a little bit about the rapture. What is that all about?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to talk about the rapture.
Okay.
But that's all the time we have for today.
What?
So we're going to cover that tomorrow.
No!
Well, until then, thank you for joining us for this edition of You See Good News.
No!
Now you saw the good news.